Shalom, I'm back. You know, I was just talking about how we look at like we just read, the Most High is a man of war, Exodus 15:3. The Most High is his name. We roll in that perspective initially to bring out the truth and to break down those barriers of them demons in high places. But after a while, people started saying that they hate us and they hated me in my face. So I had to do assessment. That's why the Most High gave me self-examination. So I started going through the scriptures, looking at, examine yourself, whether or not you're in the faith. Are you operating just on one part of the Most High, or having a balance? Everything with the Most High, everything in this world is a balance. In, out, on, off, up, down. Everything's a balance. So I had to balance this out. And he showed me Hamashiach. Because we were saying by Hashem Yahushai, like some still say by Hashem Yahushai. But he showed me Hamashiach in the scriptures. And when I seen the breakdown of Hamashiach back in the 90s, somebody be just saying it now, but this happened back in the 90s. And I was brought up on charges for bringing it out. And once I dealt with headquarters in New York, they said it was right. So I started rolling in. I was already rolling by Hashem Mashiach. That's how we reach the Most High. That's how we receive the spiritual power from the Most High. Why I start off with Colossians 3:17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all by Hashem Mashiach in the name of the Lord. It says, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by Hashem Mashiach, by Him. That's how we do it. So once I started doing that, now you got to balance. Like I say, we warriors, but we still got to have that balance for the Most High. What the Most High was all warrior. What he was just bringing warfare on your butt. When he said, I'm going to go to my place to acknowledge your offense, that we offended him. In your affliction, you're going to seek me early. He said, I'm going to hide my face and seek my face, he said. Saying your affliction, you're going to seek me early. What if he just was dealing with affliction? Which somewhat, we got to look at it, because he say, hey, who he loves, he chastens. And you're going to get those that do evil and wrong too. So one way or another, you're going to get it. This ain't something you're going to just tiptoe through the tulips. You're going to make it through, like he said. To go there is narrow. The path to the kingdom now is narrow. You got fire on this one side and deep water on the other side. And only one person go through at a time. Got to go through the straight way, y'all. So you got to have this balance. That's why I say, what number are you at 144,000? When the Most High said, dare not make thyself one of the number. He said the righteous scarcely gonna be saved. You see what he's doing? He said all this was to get him a name in Egypt. This is spiritual Egypt, spiritual Sodom, it says. Where we at now, here in America. And he gonna get him a name this time, but this name gonna last forever, never. He gonna be all in all. Once he put all of my Shekel sides, as it's written, enemies under his footstool, then the Mashiach gonna be subject to him, and the Most High gonna be all in all. He gonna have to ask nobody about know me. Like he tell you, that's why I talk about some new covenant. The new covenant, everybody gonna know the Most High, the least of the greatest. You gonna have to teach about him no more. Everybody gonna know him. You gonna understand. You gonna be in order. Like Mashiach said that you don't want to serve us, we put to death. Isaiah 60:12. It ain't going nowhere. Just read it for yourself. Straight up. That's why it behooves anyone in this world right now to start learning his laws, learning his rules and regulations. Because you're either going to learn it or you're going to be made to learn it. You're going to bow down now, you're going to bow down later, but you're going to bow down. Straight up. I digress. But I know that there is spiritual power in the name of the anointed Savior. That's why he said, whatever you do in word or deed, whatever you say, whatever you do. That way you get it from, you get the spiritual power from the Most High. Who the power? Who's your power really? What idol you gonna call on? That's gonna outdo the Most High. Power of Abraham, who had a son named Isaac, who had a son named Jacob. And Jacob became the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. Who you gonna call on? If you're not one of the 12 tribes of Israel. If you not, you need to be learning the Most High's rules and regulations. Because you against them, he gonna do away with you. What you think he come to judge you for? What you've done in following the way of the world? Huh? He got rules and regulations, y'all. Like here, we just the first month of our year. Started yesterday. Look what he said. I love it. Exodus 12:12. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite, that means kill, all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast. And against all the gods of Egypt, I will execute judgment. I am the Most High. See that? Look. So y'all think, oh, that was then, right? Let's go to your New Testament. All of y'all that don't believe, listen to what it says. And that's the spirit, Revelation 11:8. Turn the Bible and go right to where you need to go. That's the spirit of the Most High about so much. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of this great city, talking about America, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. Just like the Most High got even named that. This America is called spiritually Sodom and Egypt, where also our Most High and the Yasharahla was crucified. Okay? Now, you can't deny the fact that right here in America, you can turn on TBN and you can see the so-called white man representing the Most High, so-called white man representing the Yasharahla. Or, better yet, once again, I gotta keep showing you, because a lot of y'all, you know, a picture worth 1,000 words, so I gotta keep showing you what it says here. It said, in the beginning, God created heaven and earth, so y'all make the call. See right there? You can't deny this now. Picture worth 1,000 words. Can't deny it. There it is. So if they say they're the Most High, they say we're the Most High, and the Yasharahla was crucified. That's crucifixion right there. That's from 1826. That's a shame. But it's real. Egypt in captivity, slavery, and bondage is where we are. In captivity, slavery, and bondage. In Sodom, what happened to Sodom? You had men with men, women with women. Same thing they're doing now. You know. Wickedness. Just all kind of wickedness going on. So, going to Revelations 19 and 15. This is my Yasharahla. He said, and out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, right? So look, go to Hebrews. Hold that. Get Hebrews 4 and 12. A sharp sword, right? Show you something right quick. Hebrews 4 and 12. For the word of the Most High is quick and powerful, right? And sharper than any two-edged sword. The word of the Most High is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of the soul and spirit, and the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart, right? So the word of the Most High is quick, right? All this is dealing with two-edged sword, right? The word of the Most High. Let's go back to Revelation 19. Look, it says in verse 13, it says, and he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood. And his name is called the Word of the Most High. Uh-oh. So the Word of the Most High, what it say? So he's quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword. The word of the Most High said, right? His name is called the word of the Most High. The one y'all call Jesus Christ. Y'all know him like this. I know him like this as Mashiach Yahweh. We already read it where he's the destroyer. The word of the Most High is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword. I mean, a two-edged sword cut you this way and that way, right? Piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit and the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart, right? The mind, what you way you think. So now let's go back to Revelation 19. Since we know that it says in verse 13, and he was clothed, this is Mashiach Yahweh when he come back to judge and make war, as it told us in verse 11. But his clothes gonna be dipped in blood. You can read about this blood. It tell you when you read about Edom in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. It says Edom figures prominently in the prophetic scriptures as a scene of great future judgments. Give you scriptures like Isaiah 34, 5 and 6, and Isaiah 63, 1 down. That's it tells you in Isaiah 63 and 1 down, that's gonna be Edom's blood, because they're gonna be the superpower of the earth, ruling the earth at the last days. It said, and he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of the Most High. Let's see what he's going to do. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses. So that's the angels. 200 million of them. Tell you that in Revelation 9:16. Clothed in fine linen. So they ain't butt naked angels. White and clean. They're going to have white and clean linen on. And out of his mouth go up a sharp sword. Sharp sword. Remember, he's the Word of the Most High. It's sharp. Like a sharp sword, two-edged sword, cutting this way, that way, even to the discerner of the marrow of the bone. And out of his mouth go up a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations. He should kill the nations. You see this? And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. That's the law of the Most High. And he treaded the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty Most High. Real quick. Go to your pocketbook. 2nd Ezra 13, going to let you know who it is. It's him. 2nd Ezra 13. And you can read it on down, from 1 on down, you'll see what's being said. All the armies and navies and marines and air force getting together to fight Mashiach Yahweh. And now it's telling you what he's going to do. And let you know who it is. What is it? 2nd Ezra 13 and 37 and 38. And this my son, this is Mashiach Yahweh, the destroyer, shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations. Remember, he said he's going to smite the nations. He's going to kill the nation. He's going to rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest, the fire, and shall lay before them their evil thoughts, and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame. That's fire. And he shall destroy them without labor. How? By the law. The same law that you keep telling people that they're not under. Well, it behooves everyone to hear my voice. Better start learning the Most High's laws. Because he says he's going without labor by the law, which is like unto fire. Y'all better understand this. Look. Jeremiah 23. Jeremiah 23 and 29. Is not my word like as a fire, said the Most High, and like a hammer that breaketh the rock in pieces? You better understand. But right there with 2nd Ezra 13 and 38, give you the analysis of what he gonna do. He said by the law, though. The same law you're taught you're not under. It's the Most High's laws. But see, the Gentiles wasn't given a law. So they have you thinking that you're Gentiles. Right? You got you thinking that you're Gentiles. Most of you Israelites, you think you're Gentiles. Because the majority of this, 2/3 of our people, they're going to come back to this. You love to have it so. So going back to Exodus 12th chapter, I digress. Since he said he's going to pass through that night, starting at 12 o'clock at night, start killing all the Egyptians, man, firstborn, man and beast. So it's going to take time to do this. He going through, because he got to look at the doorpost and see the blood on the doorpost. So that's Israel. Keep on moving. Kill this one, kill that one, kill this one, kill that one. Going through all night. 12 o'clock at night on, killing everybody. Verse 13. Exodus 12 and 13. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are. So in the houses. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you by the destroyer, when I smite the land of Egypt. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to the Most High throughout your generations. See? Unto this day. Ye shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever. See? While we observe the Passover. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. Then you know. This is how serious it is. Eating leaven. You get all the leaven, put all the leaven away, you know, before the 14th of this month, you know, at least for the way we're celebrating the Passover. So whenever anybody, you know, saying their New Year is 14 days later, you got to have that leaven out of your house. For all you that are, you know, observing the new moon from the 31st to 14th evening is the Passover. So you can't eat any leaven from the first day until the 7th day, which would be the 14th to the 21st. That soul shall be cut off from of Israel. And in the first day there shall be an holy convocation, and in the 7th day there shall be an holy convocation to you. No matter of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat. That only may be done of you. You got to, you know, cook the food and get everything ready. So, and ye shall observe the Feast of Unleavened Bread. For in this selfsame day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. So, did we leave on the first day? Or did we leave on that night or the second day? You got to understand, okay, the death angel, he said, remember he said, discard all the lamb that we don't eat, you know, in the morning. So, the Most High then had a Yasharahla, the destroyer, go through as an angel of the Most High and kill all the firstborn of the Egyptians. So now they hollering and screaming. Moses, he called for Moses. Moses went to Pharaoh. So that taking time. Pharaoh's, because, you know, first he had to, you know, realize, wow, my son is dead. Now, he hearing all the screams in Egypt. Everybody hollered and screamed because they first born and their beast is dying. So now you're getting the report that it's coming all around Egypt that everybody's, you know, suffering death. So he called for Moses and Aaron. They come. And so that took the time to explain to them, get out of here. So now, we didn't have YouTube, we ain't have FaceTime, we ain't have Facebook, we ain't have WhatsApp or WhatsApp, we ain't have none of that. You know what I mean? So the word of mouth had to go around, And you know Israel, you know how Israel is. We's free, man, we's free. Man, we ain't free, man. What you talking about? You trying to get us in more burdens. Remember, the burdens were put upon us, but we had to find our own means to be able to make the bricks. We couldn't slack at all these last years that we was in Egypt. You know how we are. Oh man, you lying. You don't know what you're talking about. We ain't free. So we had to convince the people that we're free. That take time. And let's look at it. Let me continue. It'll say it all. So it says, in the first day there shall be a holy convocation, verse 15. In the seventh day there shall be a holy convocation to you. No matter of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat. That only may be done of you, whenever you like to have the feast. And ye shall observe the Feast of Unleavened Bread. For in this selfsame day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Did armies leave out of the land of Egypt? On the 14th? Remember, we in the house all night. We in the house all night. He said, hey, discard the lamb that you don't eat by the morning. So we in the house all night. He said, don't come out. So how long did it take him to go through the land of Egypt and kill all their firstborn? We're going to read about it. So, and you shall observe the Feast of Unleavened Bread, for in this selfsame day, have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt, which is on the 15th. Therefore shall you observe this day in your generation by an ordinance forever. So, you have the 14th and you have the 15th. 14th, we're in the house. That's Passover. We're in the house. So how long do you think it took for us to do the things that it's saying we're doing? Look. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at even, you shall eat unleavened bread until the 1 and 20th day of the month at even. So the 14th to the 21st day. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses. For whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even as soul, shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. So from the 14th, it's beautiful that it falls right in order as we're reading it this year. Think about that. Because the 14th day is the Passover. To the 21st day, we have to not have any leaven in our houses. It's perfect. You can read it for yourself, and it's perfect what it's saying. So the 14th day, we're in the house. 15th day, by that next evening, you got to get everybody together, and we go on, you're going to see what he said we're dealing with, and we're up out of there. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses. No leaven, no yeast, anything that have yeast in it. You're supposed to get rid of it. For whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul, shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be stranger or born in the land. Ye shall eat nothing leavened. In all your habitations shall ye eat unleavened bread. So we got to make unleavened bread. Or buy it, however you want to do. Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said unto them, draw out and take you a lamb according to your families and kill the Passover. And ye shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the 2 side posts with the blood that is in the basin, and none of you shall go out at the door of his house until the morning. So we didn't go outside until the morning, right? This is the Passover. And the Most High will pass through this to smite the Egyptians. And when he seeth the blood upon the lintel, this is the Most High using them out, destroyer we done read about. Mashiach Yahweh say, when he shall pass through this to smite the Egyptians, and when he seeth the blood upon the lintel and on the 2 side posts, the Most High will pass over the door. Well, I'll say HALALAWYAH, because that's the Most High and the Mashiach Yahweh, as the angel of the Most High, that's what it says in the Hebrew, will pass over the door and will not suffer the destroyer to come in unto your houses to smite you. Remember, we read about them. That's why I say, them little powerful words, as we read. Remember, we read about them in 1 Corinthians 10th chapter. And verse 10 said, let's read verse 9 and 10. Neither let us tempt Mashiach in the wilderness, as some of them also tempted and will destroy the serpents, right? You kill them with serpents, right? Poison snakes. It said, neither murmur ye as some of them also murmured and were destroyed of the destroyer. So here he is right here. It says, verse 23 of Exodus 12 chapter, says, for the Most High will pass through, well, I'll say HALALAWYAH, but that's the Most High of the Mashiach Yahushua. As we read about the destroyer, when the Most High wa Mashiach Yahushua, or HALALAWYAH, will pass through to smite the Egyptians. And when he seeth the blood upon the lintel, and on the two side posts, Most High wa Mashiach Yahushua, HALALAWYAH, will pass over the door and will not suffer the destroyer to come in unto your houses to smite you. So Mashiach Yahushua is an angel of the Most High. And you shall observe this thing for an ordinance to thee and to thy sons forever. So what is forever, y'all? And it shall come to pass when ye shall come to the land which the Most High will give you, according as he hath promised, that ye shall keep this service. Say, keep this service. And it shall come to pass when your children shall say unto you, what mean ye by this service? That ye shall say, it is the sacrifice of the Most High's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he smote the Egyptians and delivered our houses, the Israelites' houses, those that followed instructions. And the people bowed their head and worshiped. They bowed their head and worshiped the Most High. And the children of Israel went away and did as the Most High had commanded Moses and Aaron. So did they. Put that blood on the doorpost and the lintel. And it came to pass that at midnight, the HALALAWYAH, the Most High and the Mashiach Yahushua, the destroyers, as an angel of the Most High, smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of cattle. Remember, he killed the man and the beast, firstborn. And Pharaoh rose up in the night. He raised up in the night, and we started at 12 o'clock at night. He and all his servants and all the Egyptians. And there was a great cry in Egypt. But there was not a house where there was not one dead. See that? And he called for Moses and Aaron by night and said, rise up and get you forth from among my people. He said, get on out of here. Get from among my people. Both ye and the children of Israel, and go serve the Most High HALALAWYAH. In the Mashiach Yahushua, as ye have said. That spiritual rock that followed us, right? Also, take your flocks and your herds, as ye have said, and be gone, and bless me also. And the Egyptians were urgent upon the people that they might send them out of the land in haste. But they said, we be all dead men. Said, we should get rid of these Israelites. Said, the Most High gonna kill all of us. And the people took their dough before it was leavened. That's where the unleavened bread come from. Their kneading troughs being bound up in their clothes upon their shoulders. And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses. And they bought of the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment. So how long do you think this took? We didn't have social media. The word of mouth had to go around. You got to convince people. They start seeing Israelites coming out of the Egyptian houses with jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment. What you think? Oh, it's real, it's real, it's real. But you got those guys probably said, oh no, they still in the house. Still dealing. And the Most High gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required, and they spoiled the Egyptians. They ain't gonna be, look, y'all think that's something, but right now, go to Obadiah, book of Obadiah. Let you know who it's talking to, and then we go to verse 17. Let's see what it says. Obadiah 1, it said, the visit of Obadiah, thus say the Most High Power concerning Edom, right? Edomites, so-called Caucasian, right? This is verse 17. Superpower of the earth Verse 17, but upon Mount Zion, the 12 tribes of Israel, Zion represents the 12 tribes of Israel, shall be deliverance. Going to be saved from my enemies and from the hand of all their haters. And there shall be holiness, righteousness, those that's keeping the law, such commandments of the Most High. And the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. Just like here. Oh, yeah. So now, in the new under the sun, here we go. It says, the Most High showed us favor, the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required. How you going to lend something to somebody you don't never see them again? And maybe they changed that word lend to something, you know, contrary to what it is. Because, and they spoiled the Egyptians, it's saying. And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramses to Sukkot, about 600,000 on foot that were men beside children. 600,000 men beside children. And a mixed multitude went up also with them. You know, whenever, they should always going to follow us. We the flavor of the earth. They're going to always follow us. They're going to, whenever you realize, even at this time, you say we're on all that possessions, they're going to be saying, we know that the Most High is with you. It says in the scripture. We know that the Most High is with you. We'll be cleaving to a Israelite skirt, it says. So, and they baked unleavened cakes of the dough which they brought forth out of Egypt, for it was not leavened. Leavened meaning it have a chance to rise, because they were thrust out of Egypt and could not tarry. Neither had they prepared for themselves any victuals. For the sojourning of the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt was 430 years. From 430 years, 350 years, we ruled Egypt. So the last 80 years, we was in captivity. 430 years. 350 and 80, yeah. 430 years. Because, I mean, let me ask you something. Go back to Exodus, the first chapter. I'll ask you a question. We as the 12 tribes of Israel, would you say that we so mighty? We are mighty, exceeding mighty right now? I ain't talking about what's coming. I'm talking about right now. I don't think so. Zechariah 11:5 being fulfilled all the time. Whose oppressors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. But listen how we were in Egypt. Go to Exodus 1:7. You know, Joseph had died. You know, he was right under the Pharaoh. A lot of these speaks you said is Joseph. You know, we were shepherd kings. This is what it says. Verse 7, and the children of Israel were fruitful, meaning we had a lot of children, and increased abundantly, and multiplied, and waxed exceeding mighty. It was ruling. And the land was filled with them. Because remember, once Pharaoh died, we're not talking about the Pharaoh that had us in captivity. We're talking about Pharaoh that Joseph was under. Once Pharaoh died, Joseph was in power. That's why it's saying, and the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty. And the land was filled with them. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. See? Now like Joseph was the Pharaoh. But this king didn't know Joseph. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on. Are we more and mightier than the superpower of the earth at this time? No. He said, come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And we multiply anyway. And it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. You see? But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel. You see? And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor, hard labor. So, but we were exceeding mighty. When we were exceeding mighty, we were ruling for at least 4 dynasties, y'all. Going back to Exodus, the 12th chapter. Verse 41, and it came to pass at the end of the 430 years, even the selfsame day, it came to pass that all the hosts, armies of the Most High, went out from the land of Egypt. It is a night to be much observed unto the Most High for bringing them out from the land of Egypt. So it is a night to be much observed unto the Most High for bringing them out from the land of Egypt. This is that night of the Most High, HALALAWYAH, the Most High, the destroyer, the angel of the Most High, to be observed of all the children of Israel in their generations. Now, we could come out. Okay, look. Passover is on the 14th. I'm going to try to make this as simple as I can. We just read, we could not come out until the morning. So we didn't leave in the daytime on the 14th. So when it got dark, it became night. We didn't gather up. That's why I'm trying to get you to understand. We didn't have social media, so we got to get the word out to everybody that we free. Most of them gave us favor in the sight of the Egyptians. They holler in the morning because death has come into their house. Even a beast is dead. Firstborn beast is dead. So it's taking all this time all day long to gather up all these riches and so forth, all the things that are going to get all the possessions of Edom. In this day and time, whenever the Yasharahla, through the power of the Most High ordained them. So we got to gather up everything. Like I said, we spoiled the Egyptians. That's taking time. That's that day. That's why it's saying in verse 42, it is a night to be much observed unto the Most High for bringing them out from the land of Egypt. We came out of the land of Egypt, which would be the feast the next day, which is the 15th. That's our salvation. That's where we coming out. The Most High saving us from the captivity of the Egyptians. That night, that day, that's why I say you gotta really think of your, don't take a rocket science and figure this out, y'all. I mean, all day we convincing Israel that we free. We getting all the stuff from the Egyptians. Much come on now, when they see gold and silver and raiment and all this that they be able to get, and you a slave, you in burlap, you in nothingness, and you had a chance to get everything that they have, we would have said, most I had to get so the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, verse 36, so that they lent unto them such things as they required. That's what I want. That I want that. You know how we are. Come on now. You say, oh, I just want that. I just want that a little bit. Just give me that right. Oh, I'm out. I don't think so. You hear what it say? Such things as they required. Whatever we wanted, I want that. I want that. You know how we are. We some greedy people. Give me that. 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 You got some gold. You got silver. Well, let's go in here and search in the houses. You hear what it said? So that they lent unto them such things as they required, and they spoiled the Egyptians. That's what we did. That took time. That's okay. We couldn't come out till the morning. So this morning now, so all that day, once you find out that we free, we getting everything we can get from the Egyptians, spoiling them. Taking I want that, whatever you required. I want that, I want that. You think we would have just said, just give me a little piece of gold and I'm out. Nah, you know how we are. Come on. So that's all that day. We just spoiled it. That's why the Most High said, verse 42, it is a night to be much observed unto the Most High, verse 42, for bringing them out from the land of Egypt. That's our salvation. That's the 15th. That is that night. That is that night. Remember the night of Passover, we're in the house. We couldn't come out at night. He said, don't come out till the morning. Right? So that next night, it is that night of the Most High, HALALAWYAH, to be observed of all the children of Israel in their generations. That's the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Next day. But see, I find that people are keeping the Passover in a building or wherever they did. The next day, they going home. They be at home for the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Well, he's saying, it is a night to be much observed unto the Most High for bringing them out from the land of Egypt. We didn't come out during the day. We was gathering all the stuff from the Egyptians and letting everybody know we free. Oh, yeah. But that evening, that night, it is a night, which will be the start of the 15th. Even in Esau world, you start at 12 o'clock. We just start whenever it gets dark, you know. It is a night to be much observed unto the Most High for bringing them out from the land of Egypt. So you had the Passover. We had the Passover in our house. And the next day, we observing our salvation. Like, we got to observe how we got to be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us in these kingdoms that we've been scattered in. But you're not dealing with that if you're just dealing with going through the plagues as the Most High did on the Egyptians. 10 plagues he did on the Egyptians, and Passover's over. What about our Passover? We need to be Passover. We need salvation. We need to know what we need to do to please the Most High, to bring righteousness on this earth. Don't we? Everybody in their homes, we should be coming together on the Feast of Unleavened Bread. That's why he said, and it is a night to be much observed unto the Most High for bringing them out from the land of Egypt. Bringing them out from the land of Egypt. We didn't come out of the land of Egypt. In the daytime, it said the night. So that's that next night. That's the 15th, when the 15th started. This is that night. I mean, it's clear. This is that night. That the night before was the Passover. We was in there. He said, don't come out the house at night. Don't come out the house. You eat the Passover. Get rid of the lamb that you don't eat before the morning. It's morning. Then the morning time, come out. Don't come out to the morning. It's the morning. Going to the morning all day long. You gathering all the stuff you're going to get from the Egyptians. That evening, you out of there. Verse 43, and the Most High said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof, but every man's servant that is brought for money, when thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof. So, you got to be circumcised. Eat the Passover. Man, you're not circumcised, you're not supposed to be eating the Passover. A foreigner and an hired servant shall not eat thereof. In one house shall it be eaten. 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 Thou shalt not carry forth out of the flesh abroad out of the house. Neither shall ye break a bone thereof. That's why my Shah is really symbolic. I say when I start going into the Passover breakdown, then you'll see that it's representing my Shah. No bone was broken of him, and they broke the bones to make him die. When they came to break his legs, he was already dead. All the congregation of Israel shall keep it. And when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover to the Most High, let all his males be circumcised. You see, it's very important that the male children be circumcised to eat the Passover. And then let him come near and keep it. And he shall be as one that is born in the land. For no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. So uncircumcised is not supposed to eat thereof. One law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the strangers that sojourneth among you. Thus did all the children of Israel, as the Most High commanded Moses and Aaron, so did they. And it came to pass the selfsame day that the Most High did bring the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt by their armies. Okay. So, like I was saying, we left out of Egypt, and Pharaoh hardened his mind again and came after us. Because, look, Exodus 14, verse 5. And it was told the king of Egypt that the people fled, and the heart was the mind of Pharaoh and of his servants was turned against the people. And they said, why have we done this, that we have let Israel go from serving us? Say, why have we done this? Why we let them go from being our slaves? And he made ready his chariots and took his people with him. And he took 600 chosen chariots and all the chariots of Egypt and captains over every one of them. And the Most High hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, again. The Most High hardened his mind. And he pursued after the children of Israel. He pursued after us. And the children of Israel went out with an high hand. But the Egyptians pursued after them, all the horses and chariots of Pharaoh, and his horsemen, and his army. You know, they got a movie called The Exodus. It's a pretty good movie. And his horsemen and his army. And overtook them encamping by the sea, beside Baharath, before Baal Zephon. And when Pharaoh drew near, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them. So listen what they did, or what we did. And they were so afraid. See, that fear came into them, what they do. And the children of Israel cried out unto the Most High. See, when that fear come into you, that's when you cry out to the Most High. And they said unto Moses, because there was no graves in Egypt, hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness? Wherefore hast thou dealt thus with us, to carry us forth out of Egypt? Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? They're going to be saying the same thing getting out of this captivity. Let us alone, that we can serve the Egyptians. Could have served, we loved it. They're going to be crying the blues about leaving Massa. For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. Ain't that something? And Moses said unto the people, fear ye not. Yeah, man always fearing man, but not the Most High. Said, fear ye not, stand still, and see the salvation of the Most High, HALALAWYAH, which he will show to you this today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever. The Most High shall fight for you, HALALAWYAH. The Most High, as the destroyer, as the angel of the Most High, shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. Be quiet. And the Most High said unto Moses, wherefore criest thou unto me? Why are you crying unto me? Speaking to the children of Israel that they go forward. But lift thou up thy rod, and stretch out thine hand over the sea, and divide it. And the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. And behold, I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians. Hear what he said? He going to harden the hearts of the Egyptians. That's the minds of the Egyptians. And they shall follow them. And I will get me honor. Hear that? Moses said, I'm going to get me honor upon Pharaoh and upon all his hosts, all his army. But this is all to get the Most High honor. This ain't going to be in this time that we're in now. Y'all better hear what he's saying. Ain't nothing new under the sun. He's saying going to get him honor upon Pharaoh and upon all his hosts, upon his chariots and upon his horsemen. And the Egyptians shall know that I am the most high power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And the Egyptians shall know that I am the most high when I have gotten me honor. Hear this? Well, y'all better get it right. Y'all thinking that y'all gonna get some honor? You know what the Most High said? He gonna do all this to get him honor. He said, when I have gotten me honor upon Pharaoh, upon his chariots, and upon his horsemen. And the angel of the Most High, there he is. The destroyer of the Most High, that spiritual rock that followed us. Mashiach Yahushua that we just read about in 1 Corinthians 10th chapter. Which went before the camp of Israel, removed and went behind them. And the pillar of the cloud went from before their face and stood behind them. And it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel, and it was a cloud and darkness to them. But it gave light by night to these, so that the one came not near the other all the night. You know, like I said, it was a cloud by day and a fiery chariot by night. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Most High caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. And the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon the dry ground. And the waters were a wall unto them on the right hand and on their left. Can you imagine that? You see it in the movies, it's pretty tight. The waters is drawn to each side, and we walking across dry ground. You know, could you imagine how, looking at that, I mean, even to get our people to go out there, he had to just make it like solid. Because you know how we are. We already scared. You see what it said? We crying to the Most High. We're so afraid in verse 10. And the children of Israel cried out unto the Most High, crying out to him then. They're afraid, right? Can't get them to be afraid of the Most High now. But look, it says, because that's the only person we're supposed to be afraid of. My church say, fear him that can kill the body and cast it into hell. He said, yeah, fear him. Most High say, he don't give us a spirit of fear. We fear the Most High. So now that we done went across dry ground, the waters on each side of us, verse 23, and the Egyptians pursued and went in after them to the midst of the sea, even all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. And it came to pass that in the morning watch, the Most High looked to the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and other cloud, and troubled the host of the Egyptians. Remember, this is Mashiach Yahushua. That's why I say HALALAWYAH in the Hebrew, the powers. We just read verse 19, and the angel of the Most High. That's Mashiach Yahushua. The spirit of the Most High,